Hi everybody. Can you hear me? Because I can't. Hello. Hi. This is Nasiha, and first of all, to begin with, a very happy International Women's Day to all the wonderful women around out there, and also to the men who are equally supportive in the journey to achieve an equal future in post-COVID scenario. So the question is so before I delve into the topic, let me give you a brief intro about me. I am Nasiha. I live in Hyderabad, India, and since last 14-15 years I have been associated with the workforce management, and I'm basically into the strategy side and process improvement front with analytics. So I have upfront, and I'm upfront watching the numbers, and numbers are very close to me, so you will find a lot of reference to those numbers today in this short session. So the first question that comes to my mind when people say that we have to achieve an equal future post-COVID, why is that so? And if numbers are to be believed, it is because the full economic parity is still 257 years apart. We will reach these many years to get a full economic parity wherein men and women will be on equal terms. Yes, this is sad, but I'm taking a step back and trying to understand why. Why is it so? Is it because women are not good leaders? The answer is no, a big no. And if something has taught us, it has taught the COVID has taught us that women leaders are exceptionally good. They have the pulse, and I'm comparing the stats that has been released recently, which says the organization that has women leaders outperform the male-dominated ones by 2%. And in the crisis, in the pandemic crisis, the countries that had been led by women had a better track record than the other countries. Now they have compared New Zealand with Ireland, Serbia with Israel, and Germany with the UK, and Bangladesh with Pakistan. And everywhere, what you see the trend is women as leaders have saved the countries. The death toll is less, the COVID spread is less, and they are back into track, into the normal life as soon as possible in whatever the scenario we are living in. So with hence proven that women are exceptional as leaders, then how do they what sets them apart? The biggest contributor here is the gender difference in risk aversion. When women leaders tend to have a better sensitivity towards risk, they adverse risk, and when they balance it with when they see risk to lives, they prioritize it more than the economic risk. And the gender difference in leadership is that they are more democratic, they are more participative style, and they are open to much more involvement in the communication and in the thought changes, and that makes them amazing in managing crisis. Now we have established the fact that women are good as leaders. Then why only 17% are in the top leadership bracket? Why we are still thinking how do we make it future equal for all? The answer, as per me, lies in us, in what we do at home. We know women being naturally inclined to be a better caregiver, we trust them with all the work that is there at home. We trust them with more unpaid work. And that's the reason their strength is often taken as a weakness and women quit from the workforce. It's sad, but it's true. It's the case wherein strength has turned into the weakness. So what can we do? What we can do is the change. As a lot of the speakers before me spoke about and rightly pointed out, we need that change in mindset, and that begins from home. We should not ask our girls to come back home early. Rather, say the guys that, hey, behave responsibly. We begin at home by equally dividing the work, as in the girls and the boys, if they have to cook, let them have equal share of turns, and ensure that the women also prioritize themselves and their work. How many of you have heard this, that, oh, I don't get time for myself, I have offices to run and my kids are there, my family is there, they depend on me. Yes, the world depends on you, but you cannot, and you have a responsibility to yourself first. You cannot take care of everybody and neglect yourself. That is not correct. You need to prioritize yourself and your work, your hobbies. So that is the first step. And then talk, express your need. Haven't we heard some of our friends saying, oh, she keeps on talking about what she needs, she's selfish. No. Expressing your need and what you want to do is the first step towards equality. We have never discouraged our men to do that. That opens the dialogue and the communication, and it bridges that gap. Create the list of everything that you want to do. Prioritize. Align work to somebody. Delegate whatever is in your priority and you have to take care. That's what you should do. Otherwise, learn to delegate. You are a superhuman, but as all heroes are there, you don't have to carry the weight of the world. Learn to be Tony Stark. I wish there would be an Iron Lady apart from Iron Man, but that's the example that we have. Learn to be Captain Marvel. Learn to be the Supergirl who also loves to take care of herself. So that starts with you. Love yourself, prioritize your need, talk about what you want. If it clashes, sit down across the table, discuss. There's nothing that cannot be sorted. And that is what I believe will create the path for an equal future. Although this is a Women's Day, but I'm dreaming about a day wherein we don't have a separate Women Day to remind that yes, this is a day to be celebrated. All day would be so equal that there is no concept as a separate Women's Day. There is equality in the life, equality in the work, equality in the pay. So with this I wrap up, and I would definitely love to hear your comments on this, your views on this, and I'm looking at all the comments. If there is any question I can answer, I'll quickly take it before the time runs out and the next speaker is ready. Thank you, Suresh. So with that, have a wonderful life, and once again, till we reach that equality, happy Women's Day.